Well, good morning. Ugh, my voice cracked. Good morning. Welcome in. You are on the lifeboat. This is Captain Calhoun speaking. Please hold. Let's put a hat on. Had to do a last second wardrobe change. I started to sweat in what I was wearing, so now I'm all unkempt, but that's all right. Welcome in. You're on the lifeboat. We have a special show for you today. Very excited. This is one of my favorite topics. And it's one that we really could talk about forever because there's so much to really talk about. Intentions. I'm using my camera mirror here to get looking good. Pardon me. Nurse Holly, good to see you. Feisty Irish, Laura, BMJ Media, hello, hello. Cindy Plumley, Captain Calhoun, I am Tommy's son. Welcome in. I do the morning shows, and I'm glad you're here. Nice to meet you. Cindy Plumley, Annika, what's going on? TKK, Jane Aldrich, Jeremy Fowler, what's going on, guys? Welcome in. Good morning. Just having some coffee. Before we get into intentions, I hope everyone's weekend treated them well. Now it's Monday, back at it again, huh? Rona Cooley, Martha Hornbostel, good to see you guys. Well, Flick Fox, hello, hello. Today, TKK says, don't crap on my Swedish candy. Salted licorice is a national treasure. Same with surströmming. I want to see the video of you eating surströmming, TKK. If you're going to defend it so stalwartly, so steadfastly, I'd like to see you enjoying some of that fish. Super chilly in Northern Cali. You know, it is quite chilly here as well. I can tell the temperature by the color of the sun. Is that weird? The sun is less soft today, so it's not as cold as it was yesterday morning, but it is not, it's still quite soft. Nice work holding it together. Well, I appreciate that. It was just salty. It was just a salty licorice. It wasn't that bad. Although the full force of that salt hitting you right in the face, not great. Non-desirable. But, you know, we got through it. I definitely could have enjoyed it without the salt. Lacey Silver, Brianna Miller, good to see you guys. All right, let's get into it. What do you guys think? So today we're going to talk about intentions. Intentions are everything. Now you might be asking, what's the deal with the intentions? Well, that's the why to your what. Why are you doing what you're doing, right? Why are you going to this event where they may or may not be drinking and smoking, right? Why are you going to the gym? Why do you get up in the morning at the time that you get up, right? Now, I used to do a lot of things just because, and I still get enjoyment from doing things just because. But I have to say, I don't really do a whole lot of stuff just because anymore. Most of the things that I do these days have intention, have purpose, and that is by design. Because when I'm doing stuff just because, I'm not really driving the ship entirely. I've got the thing on autopilot. And when I'm on autopilot, I don't necessarily know where I'm going to end up, right? I've had bad experiences with not driving my ship. You know, I end up in bad places, right? So it's important to me, and I think it can behoove all of us to be in charge of our own boat, right? Where we're driving, what we're doing, why are we doing these things? Checking in with oneself and making sure that my intentions are clear is a big deal. It's a game changer. And not only making sure that my intentions are clear, but making sure that they are valid, right? Why am I going to do this thing? Am I going just to hang out with my friends? Am I going just for something to do, right? Usually when I go to, if I'm going to go to an event or a thing, a person, place, or thing, if I'm going to go and do something where people are probably going to be drinking and or smoking, I better have a damn good reason, especially, you know, I'm in recovery. That's not necessarily what I am trying to partake in, right? And I have a storied history with substances, so this is something I need to be aware of. And also, I better have damn good intentions for going to an event like this, right? Now, there are all kinds of events where people drink and smoke. It's pretty commonplace, right? Like concerts, parades, like the Day of the Dead parade yesterday, all sorts of things. It's pretty commonplace, right? Well, my needs are all really good reasons, right? I need social interaction. I can't just be by myself in my apartment all the time. It's not going to work. I will check, Matrix. I did read your message. I just haven't responded because I'm really bad at that sometimes. I'll get back to you today, I promise. It's good to see you, Matrix Rabbit. Welcome in. Good morning. Tommy Bird, hello, hello. Somebody must have gifted you a membership, huh? What was I talking about? I better have a damn good reason for going to these places, right? And that's just to say, just because, again, I've found myself in poor positions when I'm not having clear intentions, when I'm not driving my boat. Now, I need social interaction. I need food. I need sleep. I need exercise. These are all very good reasons. These aren't the only reasons to go outside of my comfort zone or to go to a place where, drinking and smoking may be happening, but these are all damn good reasons, right? There are other reasons. But only you can decide what your reasons are, right? Only you can draw your own boundaries. Only you can decide what's allowed inside your personal space and what's not, what you need and what you don't need, right? We all probably need sleep, exercise, nutrition, social interaction, but beyond that, it's up to you. So that being said, what is our intention? Let's do an exercise. What's your intention in showing up to the lifeboat this morning? You may not even know why you're here. You might just be here because you're here. Now, that's okay, right? But I think if we identify the intentions behind showing up here in the morning, it will go a long way, right? My intentions for being here is to spread a good message, to share love and connection, right? To affect the change in the world that I would like to see, right? And we're doing that little by little every morning. This is just the beginning, but this is a staple part of it, right? So I think those are great, solid, clear intentions. And I think that I am also capitalizing on those. I think that I'm getting those things done. And when I say done, not that the work's ever going to be done. I just mean I'm being successful in accomplishing my goals, in my intentions, right? Cooking with the grandma, welcome in. Man, the who, what, where, and why are so important in my life today. Plus, I need a strong escape route. Definitely, 100%. And I don't know, I guess this is a good habit, but it's a little alarming to realize that it's what I'm doing, right? But I definitely always have an escape route. I always know where the door is at, or maybe the escape route is like what I say to my friends and the way that I'm going to get home if I need to, right? But regardless, I definitely have this at all times. I shouldn't say at all times, but when I'm in one of these situations, just realized that it's silent in my headphones. I had to turn something on. Feisty Irish says connections. Tommy Bird, most reasons for me end up becoming excuses. And then I remember my MO always said, or my mom always said, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Whoa, interesting. This kind of throws a wrench in my whole gears, but I think we can work through it. What was I going to say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Good intentions are not enough is what this is saying, right? Good intentions are all well and good, but the means don't justify the ends. This saying refers to megalomaniacs and sociopaths and politicians and people that say they have good intentions the whole while they're taking your social security and blah, 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 right? I agree with this, but good intentions are valuable. I think that this is a misleading figure of speech, in my opinion. Laura says the lifeboat helps me with my mental health. I'm so glad to hear that. See, we have clear intentions. A lot of us have clear intentions of why we're here, what we're doing, and that is good. But what if you don't? What if you catch yourself not knowing why you're doing something? Well, I mean, you can always remove yourself from a situation, especially if it's becoming uncomfortable and you realize, I don't even know why I'm here doing this. Well, take that to heart and change it up, right? If I go into situations without clear intentions, it's not just the danger of me like maybe relapsing or maybe I end up in jail. Like there's so many other things that could possibly happen, right? Anything could happen really. But the ones that bother me the most and often happen more than the others when I don't have clear intentions is I will do something that I regret. I will say something to someone that I care about that I wish I hadn't. These are also things to be thinking about. And it's very important to me, integrity, to represent myself properly these days. And that wasn't necessarily always a concern of mine, but now it's of the utmost importance. So when I don't represent myself very well, or I do something that I end up regretting, it is a heavy blow. I don't want that to happen. I would like to, maybe I can't ever fully squash that out, but having clear intentions makes this so much easier, right? If I know why I'm doing something, if I know exactly what I'm doing, and I know how I'm going to go about doing it, then my chances of success and coming out unscathed are very high. And sometimes I go through these thought processes and I think to myself, man, it's a real bummer that that I have to think about and move through the world this way. I can't just be free. Well, I mean, that may or may not be the case. That might be a matter of pure perspective. Who knows? But I have to say, I am grateful that I get to live the life that I live. I try not to get hung up on what ifs and things that aren't real. Like, what if I wasn't an addict? What if I didn't live the life that I lived and I didn't have to worry about all these things? That stuff, those are just poisonous thoughts, right? Because none of that's real. This is what it is. I am living this life. I am this person, and I was the person I was before. So it's only left for me to accept and move forward with clear intentions. A Tribe Called Duff, welcome in. Hello, hello. Tommy Bird says, good intentions are all fine and well, but follow through is key, is all I'm saying. When we don't do what we say, we dishonor our own integrity, as much as I hate that for myself at times. This is definitely one of the biggest struggles that I have, Tommy Bird, is that follow through, is that integrity. And that's one of the reasons it's so important to me today, is because this is something that I'm changing in myself, something that I'm attempting to, right? Change within myself. My integrity was definitely not always there. And even today, it's not always there. Sometimes I don't feel like doing what I said I was going to do. And I totally agree with you. But good intentions is where it starts, right? And then we move to action. We follow through, right? We get it done. And the more we practice this, the more we do this, the easier it will become, as always. Mary Gonzalez says, I find myself doing things for others with good intentions, then betrayed and end in hell. Would prefer to know when I'm doing it or before, not afterwards. I just don't. I am not sure I fully understand. I'm going to read this again. Are you saying you'd prefer to know if people are going to betray you before you do nice things for them? Because I think we can all agree with that. This probably points to the company you keep rather than whether the actions you're taking are right or wrong. I think that the company you keep is probably just below the level we want it at. And that's just what I think. I don't really know. It's kind of hard for me to understand what you're trying to say here with incomplete sentences. But yeah, being betrayed is never good. And really, we have no control over whether people betray us or not. We do have control over the company we keep, right? So if someone betrays me, I don't keep their company anymore. "100% great thing to bring up, Jeremy." Jeremy Fowler says, a little bit of risk-reward thinking in attending a function virtually or physically. 100%. 100%. And you might decide that this isn't worth the risk for you, right? There was a lot of time that I spent not going to events and functions because of the risk involved. But I need social interaction, and you might not need the same kind of social interaction that I need. But I need to go out there and dance. I need to go out there and move my body and talk to people. And you may not need that. But I often do have to brush elbows with people that are partaking, right? Which is fine. Everybody gets to do what they want to do, but I need to be solid, right? I need to make sure that I'm not going to fall off the wagon, because that would be terrible. Everything that I work for would, not be in as good of a place. So very interesting, very thought-provoking stuff today. I want to thank everyone again for being here, by the way. Makers with Matrix Rabbit says there's no accountability today. That's part of the problem. What do you mean by this, Matrix? It's up to us to keep each other accountable. Now, it would be wonderful if everyone just kept themselves accountable, but unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in. Brianna Miller says, my new mantra is do something today that will make tomorrow a little bit easier. I love this. It's changed my whole perspective on getting stuff done. I definitely have been attempting to tell myself a little bit better than yesterday every single day. And some days I succeed and some days I do not, and which is also okay, right? I'm going to shoot for the moon and land somewhere among the stars. It's quite all right. Mary Gonzalez continues, the more good intentions I have for others, followed up on, can end in bad situations. Not sure if it's my ego trying to be a hero and it's the wrong thing, or if it's the company I keep. Interesting. This is definitely more insightful into what you've got going on. For me, the more good intentions I have for others, followed up on, can end in a bad situation. I see. It sounds to me like you have done nice things and been burned multiple times. It seems to me that you are expecting to be burned when you do good things, and you're calculating that the more good intentions that you have, the more good things that you do for other people, there's just more opportunity for you to be burned. And I have to say, there's a lot of things at play here, so I'm not entirely sure what is relevant to your situation because there's a lot of possibilities. But something that jumps out at me is that and I don't know if this is what you've got going on or not, but something that jumps out at me is I don't ever do things for people expecting things in return, right? And that might not be what you're dealing with at all. Maybe you're literally being betrayed and stabbed in the back, right? But if that's not the case, maybe it is a perspective thing. It's possible that, and again, I don't necessarily know how to say that properly. This is interesting. I think that the issue is definitely more centered in how you're looking at things, because of the history it seems that you have with good intentions turning into bad situations. That is very interesting. I don't think that I can do a whole lot for you with the information that I'm given, but if we continue to talk about this, maybe we can break it down. This might be a simple switch of perspective. This might be as simple as understanding something a little bit better. But I don't know. I'm not sure, Mary. I will say I'm sorry that you have been backstabbed. I'm sorry that is your experience. It's never fun when someone you think has your back does not, in fact, have your back. I always hate that. It's always a crushing experience. Trust is very important to me. Loyalty, very important. What's going on, Johnny? Welcome in. Johnny says, if they steal from me, they probably need it more. I can't always have this stance, but it's such a great stance to have. Sometimes I have lesser emotions that get in the way of me being this humble, but this is definitely my goal for myself. If something bad befalls me, now again, I don't want to disarm myself, right? And just kind of let things happen. But at the same time, when it's out of my control and something bad happens, I try to look at it from this kind of perspective, right? If someone wrongs me, I try to think to myself, well, if everything was right in their world, they wouldn't be acting like that. Or in this case, theft, right? Well, they obviously needed that more than I did, right? Or if I lose something, I think to myself, well, maybe that somebody needed that and they found it and picked it up, right? I try not to get hung up on things that happen because once they've happened, I can't change it. It is a part of the history books now, right? This is a wonderful perspective, Johnny. Thank you for sharing that. And again, this is something that I always strive for, but I can't always achieve. It's difficult. It is very difficult to be like the guy in the stories that just lets everything brush off, wash over him. Mary says, I believe I'm too much of a people pleaser. You and me both, Mary. I have to say, I know this very well. Taught to take care of and do for others always. Perhaps it's my poor perception of others or myself. I do know it is self first, but not self only. Interesting. Well, so you're in a decent position. I guess the nature of these actual situations would probably help me. And you don't You don't have to put that up here if you're not comfortable, but I imagine that this is something that we can get through, that this is something that we can fix with a matter of perspective or just understanding a little better. I will say, if you're being betrayed, don't give those people rope, right? Don't give them leeway to betray again, right? I don't know the exact nature of the betrayal, but if someone betrays me, I pretty much cross them out. Like, I mean, there are exceptions and there are different kinds of betrayal, but if someone is going to intentionally deceive me, or if someone is just not nice to me, right, in certain situations, there are, proper responses to that. And most of them for me are, I don't think so. We're just not going to allow this to happen again. And this is definitely one of the hardest places to have that stance, Johnny, is when it deals with the state, because they definitely do not have my best intentions at heart. It's really, really hard for me to give someone the benefit of the doubt that's a man-eating machine system. And that was kind of a out there metaphor, but you know what I mean? Putting men in cages is not something I'm fond of. What would you do if someone stole everything from me? I have no idea, Johnny. I have no idea. I definitely would cross them out. I guess it also depends, like, what exactly is the nature of my relationship with this person? What happened preceding it? Without even knowing that, I already don't know what I would do, right? Because that's a huge deal. Everything stolen. And I don't know how much my relationship with the person or what the circumstances are would affect the outcome, but I definitely feel like I would need to know. I would need to be as informed as possible as to what happened to make and often when I'm making a difficult decision, that's how we'll go about it. I will inform myself as much as possible, get as much information about every angle, and then I don't have to worry about my response. And also at that point, my emotions have kind of slowed down and I'm getting logical again, because we can't be emotional and logical at the same time. So once I figure it all out and kind of lay it all out for myself and I'm not so emotional, then I can make informed decisions, right? And I don't have to look back and regret decisions I made while emotional. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Brianna. Brianna says, I feel like the court system tends to set you up for failure. It's sad. It's totally a cash farm. It is a cash farm. It's a business. Privatized prisons are a thing. And even the ones that aren't privatized, I mean, they're making money for the state, for the feds, right? Right, Matrix? That's often how I feel too. All they have to do is ask, which they don't even consider. But it does speak a lot to the kind of person they are. Awakened by the Looking Glass. Hello, hello. Let's get some ones up for Awakened by the Looking Glass, please. Yeah, Nurse Holly raises a great point. We can't be responsible for how others respond. We only are in control of, right, our own selves. We have control over how we act or react, right? We have control over our thoughts for the most part, but when it comes to others, we have zero control, right? We might have a small amount of influence over others, but really, I just try to focus on what I have control over, and that's me, right? Just right here in center. Casey, good to see you. I have heard stories about when someone decides to leave their significant other, they plan ahead and take everything, including any money they can access. That is heartless betrayal. You know, Lucy and I had an interaction like this. We had a joint bank account, which is a terrible, terrible idea. And I thought we were going to be able to part amicably, amiable-ish. I thought I could trust her still, at least, right? And I asked her to close that bank account down because it was going to be easier for her to do. And she said she would. Instead of closing it down, she took all the money out of it and left it open to accrue fees, which I thought to myself, what the heck? Why would you do that? And then afterwards, she wouldn't admit that that's what she had done. She said it was everything but that. But Man, that was such a point of contention. She took all my money and the house, and then she didn't have enough money to pay for the house. But I wish her well. I'm glad that that's behind us. I'd have to say that is so far in the past. There's no reason to get burnt up about it now. And she tried to take me to court to pay for the stuff in the house that she couldn't pay for. Holy crap. Talk about betrayal. Anyways. Wow. Beta says misunderstood intentions are the reasons for a lot of stress and even conflict. I'm currently dealing with people reading between the lines and intent that just isn't there. It's upsetting for them and me for being blamed for their interpretation that I didn't intend. And this is what I'm talking about. Clear intentions, right? And if we don't understand each other's intentions, we can talk about it, right? We need to understand the intent. And trust is a huge part of this. Trust is a whole lot easier to break than it is to build. Have you ever been in a tornado, Brianna? It's all right. It's behind me now, Matrix. She was a real winner for a little while, Brianna. I hate to come on here and like feel like I'm talking bad about her because she has so many redeeming qualities. And we really had a good run until it was no longer good, right? So, and I don't talk about the bad, the mean things that I did to her at all. So there's also that, there's a whole side of this that I don't talk about because I feel shame and guilt, things that we talk about all the time. I also would like to, I don't think I've ever said that before. Like I was not an angel, I did my best, but it didn't work for good reasons, So there's also that. I don't ever want to feel like I'm one-siding the Lucy story because it takes two to tango, and boy, did we tango. She'd probably laugh if she heard that. Looking for an intent that is just a subjective interpretation is making simple things so difficult. It's frustrating. That's not what I'm intending for you to do at all, Beta. I would like you to get clear intentions by talking about them with yourself or with others, right? You can even ask each other, what's your intentions? Why are we doing this? What's the purpose here? Now, in the heat of an argument, that's not going to go well. I've tried it. But if we can take a step back and relax a little bit and actually have a constructive conversation, we can figure out why people are doing what they're doing. And often people do know, or at least if you ask them, they think they know what their intentions are. But talking about it might break it down to a place where they're like, oh, that makes sense why this isn't working. So I definitely am not asking you to try and figure out other people's intentions. That is a exercise in madness. I definitely am only asking that you identify your own intentions and then be clear with them with others, right? That way they don't have to guess either. That's what we're talking about here. Yeah, I don't know how we got on to reading between the lines. That's not necessarily that I say on here all the time. That's an exercise in madness. Like I will sometimes try to figure out what other people are thinking, but only for a second, because I can never really know without, them telling me. Thanks for saying that, Nurse Holly. I really appreciate that. I do my best. I try. I sometimes feel inadequate. I feel like I don't have enough, or like I didn't prepare enough, or those words that I'm searching for. They're just beyond my reach. But I'm glad that it's making a difference. That means everything to me. The realest real, Johnny. I appreciate you so much. These are kind words. Yeah, Tommy Bird, we are definitely all amalgams of a bunch of different things. We are definitely all No one's just good or bad, right? But we all have redeeming qualities and weaknesses, or maybe not so redeeming qualities. I think that it's what we do with what we have that really separates us, right? I think everyone has crazy thoughts. It's what we do with them that separates the sociopaths from the not. I think that we all have a lot of different stuff inside of us, but it's the decisions that we make, the choices, right? The paths that we walk, how we choose to represent ourselves, even when the chips are down, right? Even when the cards are not in our favor. I think those times especially define who we are. What's going on, Kellyanne? Welcome in. I'm losing steam here, guys. But maybe it's just because I'm thinking so much. You guys have very thought-provocative things to say that I didn't think about before. So I don't do a lot of things without purpose, without intent. Now, that's not to say I don't still run into the room and say, what's going on sometimes, right? Sometimes I still do that, but most of the time, everything that I'm doing has intention or purpose. Unless the intent is to not have purpose, right? Sometimes I will just stare at the wall for relaxation purposes. Sometimes I will just not worry about stuff for a period of time because that's good for me, right? That's necessary, I would even say. Blessed to Crochet, hello, hello. Tommy Bird says, I enjoy our conversations, Spanx. They help me as well. It's awesome. The boat has helped me up my uphill battles over the past few years. For real. Dude, I'm so glad to hear that. How are things, by the way, Tommy? How's the family? I haven't missed anything big, have I? We've been doing this thing for almost a year now, dude. Isn't that crazy? I hit some wrong buttons on my phone. That's why I'm looking at it. I can't believe we've been almost doing this thing for a year now. When I say we, I mean me personally being here doing the boat. The boat's been going along a lot longer than that, but Brianna Miller says, Spanx, you are perfect and enough. Some of the best live shows happen organically, and you are great at fostering that in this awesome community. Thank you for saying that. I was just thinking about this phenomenon this morning. Sometimes I feel like I over-prepare, and sometimes I feel like I under-prepare, and those two feelings don't necessarily equate to how much preparation went into the show. You know what I mean? I think it really is just like a roll of the dice. Sometimes I'm in a perfect mind state to roll with the punches. And sometimes I have other things on my mind. And I think that really is what it comes down to. If I could get into like a meditative, like Zen space before every show, I would be on point every time, right? But that's not necessarily the case. We're working on it, getting closer to that flow state every time. Thank you for saying this. It's not just me that says that over and over in my head sometimes. It's maddening. I have to tell myself to stop. Be nice. Just watch the licorice video. I can't tell you exactly what this level of salt tastes like, but that's pretty darn close. That's pretty darn close. I've never tasted that, but I mean, I have smelled it quite a bit in my life, and that's what it smelled. It tasted like that smells. That's what it. Anyways, it was pretty gross. I went back and watched some of that video today as well, and it made me laugh. Gypsy Soul, hello, hello, welcome in. Been so angry lately, Johnny. We got to go get some of that energy out. You know, when I first started attempting to deal with my intense anger and rage that I have inside, I often, like, my go-to would be like, I need to do something physical with this energy. And that is effective, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to be physical that we do. It's obviously easier said than done, right? But I've been finding that I can turn my anger into motivation, right? Whatever I'm angry about, if I can identify like my part, when I say my part, I don't mean my fault, right? I just mean like, what part of this situation do I have control over? And then if I can take that part and like visualize a place that I can take my part so that it's fixing the problem or it's benefiting me in some way. Coming up with an example for this is going to be difficult, but I think you understand what I'm saying. If we can take our part of it and then take it to a place where we're having solutions or we're separating ourselves from what's irritating us, that's one way, very complicated way, that I can put my anger to work for me. And the more you do this, the easier it will become. And I'm still very brand new at this. My dad's really good at taking anger and using it for motivation and for drive. But this is definitely something that I'm learning how to do. And when I figure it out, look out, world. It's going to be like me 18 with a driver's license. I'm pretty excited. So yeah, man, I don't know if you maybe just speaking out or telling your story, maybe. I mean, I try to understand like why I'm angry, exactly what's causing me to be irritated. I ask myself, do I have control over this or not? Maybe I don't. Maybe someone else is doing something pissy and it's making me angry, right? Maybe someone's treating me not very well. But I definitely would speak your truth, right? Whether or not it's going to be received well. Obviously, try not to be mad, right? Try to be cool, try to be respectful, and try to like cross all your T's and dot all your I's, right? But definitely speak your truth, and then use that emotion, like the part of it that bothers you. Like you can use that. And again, I'm new to this, right? It's easier said than done, but you can use that feeling, that emotion, to drive my actions moving forward. Like if I'm angry that, let's come up with a good example. This will help. If I'm angry that, this is a great example. If I'm angry that I've got roaches in my place and it's really bothering me, and I can use that motivation to march my butt down to the store to get the stuff that I need to do it, right? I'm angry about it, right? But I'm like going to get the stuff. This energy makes me want to move, get up, yell, break stuff, whatever. I'm just going to go down to Ace Hardware. I'm going to get the poison. I'm going to come back. I'm going to lay it all out. I'm going to use that emotion and maybe it's not comfortable like getting started. It's like a rusty gear that just kind of needs a punch to get going. But once it's going, it's going. So once I get on the path, once I start walking towards the store, right? I've already started. It's easier now. Now that's just one example, but I would try to harness that emotion. And again, to go back to the first things I was saying on this subject, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. I used to think to myself, I have to go to the gym, right? What else am I going to do? I have to do some sort of physical activity to process anger, but that's not the case. We can process anger with a lot of different tools. And often it is action, right? It is an action being taken, but it doesn't have to be physical. Like I can go about it a lot of ways. I hope that helped. It's something that I'm currently walking through and getting better at. Music helps me a ton when I'm angry as well, Mara. A ton. James Collins, welcome in. Good morning. Good luck at the doctor today, Jane. Not to worry, I'm fine. Okay, that's good to know. That's very good. Yeah, have a great day, Jane. We'll see you later, all right? Thanks for all that you do. Zen Wen! Good to see you. Thank you so much. How are you doing today, Zen? I hope this message finds you well. Wonderful, cool, rainy day, huh? We had a bunch of rain yesterday. I wish it would rain some more. It's probably the most beautiful day because it's after a rainstorm. That might just be a Utah thing because of the inversion, but every time it would rain in Utah, the next morning would just be the clearest, most beautiful day, no smog. All right, guys. Hit that like, subscribe, and the bell for notifications if you like what we do here. It makes a huge difference. Shout out to all the mods. You guys are the best in the biz. Shout out to the whole crew. I love you guys. Thanks for being here once again. I always feel better after a good morning boat, or I shouldn't say that, after a morning boat period. They're all good, but I always feel just like a changed man. after we do this. So I really appreciate you guys. And Matrix, I will get back to you today. I would love to be on your channel. I have this habit of taking on too much. I like to picture it like a juggling act, and the balls are like things that I'm taking on. Maybe one of the balls is brushing my teeth, right, in the morning. Like maybe one of the balls is keeping the house clean. Maybe one of the balls is my lifeboat stuff, but it's just the things that I'm keeping going, right? If I take too much on, I start dropping balls that I've had in the air forever. So I feel like I've got a lot going on right now. So I don't know if now's the right time to do that, but I'm honored that you would want me on your show, and I would love to be on your show. I just need to figure out a good time, and maybe in January, maybe after the end of the year, it might be better. The holidays are going to be busy. You guys know how it goes in the holiday season. It's a hard time to be an addict. So, but again, I really appreciate you thinking of me in that way, and I would like to talk more about this. Maybe at the turn of the year, it might be better. I appreciate that. That's awesome. What's for breakfast, says Brianna Miller. Well, I never did make those pancakes. Maybe I'll do that today. Have a little bit of protein powder left over from my batch from way back when, before I went on my trip. And I'm thinking about putting it in the pancakes. It's like the chocolate peanut butter protein powder. So a little chocolate peanut butter, a little regular pancake, and then maybe some like fruit in the pancakes, and then, real maple syrup drizzle. I think that's what's for breakfast. That sounds so good. I like you as a person, Matrix. I appreciate that. I definitely try to be the best man I can be. And for a lot of years, I didn't care what kind of man that I was. I just cared about what I could get. So, yeah, different. Things are different these days. These pancakes are gonna be the best, James. That does not sound bad at all, Brianna. That sounds absolutely delicious. We used to have these chicken salad sandwiches at this restaurant I worked at when I first started doing boat stuff. I was working at a restaurant on campus at the university, and the chicken salad sandwiches that she made were so good. Oh my gosh. I could probably figure the recipe out if I tried really hard, but hope you guys enjoy your day. I'm going to go make breakfast. And we'll most likely see you later today. All right. Much love, everyone. Closing quote from Kellyanne: our intentions create our reality. Wayne Dyer sets our frame of mind approach to life. Interesting. Thank you for that. All right, guys. My family's from maple syrup country, so I can't settle for the Aunt Jemima. No sweat, Johnny. It's all water under the bridge. It's all love, man. All right, y'all. Make it a good one.